Every year, more and more people acquire their real estate license, either in the hope to start a new career or to make some extra cash. Whatever the reason is, a lot of them are finding themselves in some hot water, and here are the top 4 reasons why and how you can avoid them. What's up, real estate rock stars? I'm Mighty Mike, and welcome to another episode of Rockstar News, your news source for real estate agents, real estate investors, and anyone looking to become a real estate rock star. If it's your first time watching, go ahead and click that like button, share this with all your friends and family, and make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date.
What's up, guys? Chris Noon here.
Whether it's a claim of professional negligence, breach of contract, or intentional misrepresentation, deception of trade practices, consumer fraud, or another allegation, defending yourself and your license in court is going to be expensive. So if you want to stay out of trouble, here are the 4 things you should keep in mind. Number 1, failing to advise on the contract. In a recent professional negligence case out in Colorado, the sellers brought an action against the real estate brokers. According to the allegations, the brokers failed to advise the sellers that the purchase agreement from the buyer contained an infrastructure credit provision, which permitted the buyer a credit of more than $1.6 million against the purchase price at closing for infrastructure costs. After closing on the sale, the sellers filed a suit against the broker to recover the credit, alleging that the brokers were negligent for failing to specify or specifically point out the important provision. Ultimately, the case against the brokers was dismissed on summary judgment, likely because the brokers aren't supposed to give legal advice. Now, it's important that you sit down with your clients first and inform them of your legal restrictions and your legal obligations. All right, so there's only so much we could do as realtors. And with that said, it's important that you point out sections of the contract where there may be significant financial impact, such as time frames, inspection period, financial deadlines, and parts that could impact the consumers directly. Now remember, as a real estate professional, you cannot offer legal advice pertaining to the contract. You can only point out areas that need closer examination by the buyer or the seller or an attorney. If the buyers and sellers notice a problem after the transaction is completed and no one pointing out any problems earlier, then you could end up in court. Number 2, misrepresenting the value of the property. Realtors aren't the only ones getting into trouble. In Illinois, an appraiser was retained to prepare written appraisals for mortgage lending purposes. The appraisals were used to facilitate a mortgage refinance loan secured by Colonial Bank. The FDIC was the receiver for Colonial Bank. In reliance on the appraisals, Colonial funded the loan, which was secured by the property. The FDIC alleged that subsequently discovered. There you go. Subsequently. All right, the FDIC alleged that it subsequently discovered that the appraisals omitted material information regarding the completion of the property and used inappropriate properties as comparable sales. The FDIC alleged that these misrepresentations resulted in an inflated appraised value and a loan that was severely undersecured. The FDIC alleged that if they had known the true value of the property, they would never have actually funded. So the FDIC filed a complaint against the appraisers that in part relied upon the allegation. The FDIC filed a complaint against the appraisers, or in part that they relied on the allegations that they did not follow the Uniform Standards of Professional Appraisal Practices, or USPAP. But the claims premised upon negligence misrepresentations were not dismissed. All right, number 3, exaggerating the features of a property. It's common sense that real estate professionals must be honest about the features of a property. Overinflating features and exaggerating the property's qualities can become problematic when a buyer moves in and feels misled. Do not take misleading photos or alter photos, remove distress or damage in or out of the property. Real estate professionals should be certain that any advertisements for the property listings are accurate and not exaggerated. Also, keep copies of your advertisements, listing emails, and other related notes in your file for the time period required by state law in order to defend against these potential claims. Florida requires that agent brokers keep their files no less than 5 years. All right, discovering damage like appraisal. Wait, discovering property damage like appraisal. Number 4, discovering property damage. Like appraisers, licensed home inspectors also face similar claims of professional negligence. These claims typically center around allegations that the home inspector failed to conduct an inspection in a thorough workman-like manner, or to report defective conditions in the property. Home inspectors should not only conduct a thorough inspection, but also document every aspect of the inspection in accordance with the state law licensing division. It's also prudent to identify areas of the property that were not inspected and document why such inspection did not happen. Most importantly, home inspectors should provide a contract before performing work and include a limitation on liability clause. State laws vary on enforcement of these clauses. It's a helpful clause to include in your contract. In Florida, limitations on liability clauses are generally permitted in contracts and enforced by court. Other protective measures, measures. Use your lips, boy. Other protective measures include requiring the presence of a home buyer at the inspection and clearly documenting all aspects of the inspection, including the start and stop times, areas of inspected, and findings. If areas cannot be inspected due to weather conditions or other reasons, document those facts as well. All right, so Kristen, when it comes to actual working with real estate professionals in the field, what are some of the common things that you believe or you think that you for sure have come across?
Definitely, as a real estate professional, every homeowner that's selling their property, they just fill out a property disclosure. I see more than anything that is improperly filled out. Yeah. I come across that all the time where I ask the agent, hey, this section here says that the roof is not free and clear of leaks, and below that they have to explain, and that's not explained, so I ask for verification, and almost always it comes back as, oh, that was incorrect. It's like, you're a real estate professional, you're supposed to be going over this disclosure once it's completed and ask any questions and verify. It's like, okay, where are the leaks at? When did it occur? And if it's incorrect, make sure you get a new one and fill it out properly, because now that's out there, your seller has signed, and if the buyer signs on it and it turns out there was something, you fraudulently mislabeled it.
Yeah. I think one of the major things we come across, especially when looking at it from a company standpoint, is paperwork.
Yeah.
That paperwork compliance is usually the biggest one that we have, especially for realtors.
Admin work.
Well, it's admin work, but here's the thing. I think a lot of people come into this business and they think it's gonna be, it's
a quick buck.
It's gonna be a quick buck, and that there's just gonna be this simple process. Yeah. But paperwork in the industry is how we communicate certain things, and with essentially you have to be upfront about any material defects of your home. You have to have that disclosure filled out. And I think what happens is a lot of people fill that disclosure out and your realtor never actually verifies that.
Yeah.
They don't go through it at all.
I see it all the time, especially with the property disclosure. It's the biggest thing that I see completely filled out incorrectly. The signatures are not there or are not completed. And it's just what are you doing as a real estate professional? It's this is not a quick buck. This is serious. You're messing with hundreds and thousands of dollars. And you're just going to play with it because you see a nice fat check at the end? If you're not going to be serious about this and take it seriously, get out before you get someone in a very sticky situation.
Or you get yourself into a lawsuit because of this.
Oh, all the time.
Because like I said, we see paperwork constantly being done incorrectly. There's especially and it's from the very beginning. We have listing agreements that come in completely misfilled out. Yep. They don't fill out commissions correctly. Yeah. They neglect certain things, or we have clients who are not clients but realtors that are so desperate, to potentially get a job, and this is across the industry, not just any particular one. They're so desperate to get a listing or to get a buyer that they're willing to omit important information because they're afraid that people are going to sit there and be like, no, we don't want to work with you. Yeah. It's you have to tell them these things, and if they don't like you, then let them go. At that point in time, if someone wants to sit there and they're like, no, do something wrong because I want it, I'm sorry, my license is too important. And you got to see it that way. Your license is your bread and butter. That's what's going to bring your career. If you're a full-time agent, that's what's going to develop your career. Doing one deal here and there, and then at the same time jeopardizing it because you want to make that quick buck, like you said, is just opening yourself up to liability.
A massive amount of liability. It's I've had agents that you can just read the disparity, the desperateness over the phone. Yeah. And it's they're just yelling at you because they want to make it happen so badly. And I'm sorry we had to get extended because you messed up, likely. And I never had a friend reach out to me, hey, what's it take to be a realtor? I dismiss him don't do it. Don't do it. because I know you as a person, you ain't gonna do it right.
Yeah.
So if you ain't gonna be a realtor, seriously, don't be a realtor. Don't be an agent. Don't do it.
All right, so what do you guys think? Are you heading down the road to more lawsuits, or is it the way to stem the tide? Make sure you join us on all of our social media platforms so you can stay up to date with the latest on Rockstar News. Oh, have you guys thought about becoming a real estate agent or launching your real estate career? All right, guys, if you have thought about launching your own real estate career and you live in the Central Florida area, go ahead and shoot us a message directly. We're going to be having a career night very soon. And if you would like Chris or I to become your real estate coach / mentor, we can help you guys get your career off the ground. Now keep in mind why this is so important. 87% of real estate agents fail in their first 2 years. So having a coach and a mentor by your side is going to be incredibly important. So go ahead and join us so you guys can become a real estate rock star.